Create, awakening the artist inside you. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I am Franz, Sidney, and I am your host. And as always, I am talking to you about art. This is episode 20, so it's a bit of a celebration because we've been going for a few weeks and I'm really glad to see so many downloads, and I'm hoping to serve a community of people who are interested in art or are already doing it and would like to do more, to perform better, to feel good about it. In fact, this is what I would love to talk about today. It's about those of you who have always loved creativity. Maybe you liked singing or dancing, or you loved drawing since you were tiny. You just like making things beautiful. But you are not doing anything creative today. And you haven't done anything last week or last month. Nothing is creative. And all you say to yourself is, I have no time for art. So this episode is for you. Tune in. You might find out something really interesting and useful, and I hope this is good for you today to learn why art is not happening in your life, creativity is not there, what's going on. Is this you? Every time you want to take time for yourself, your mind reminds you that there is another task to do. So you never nourish the artist inside you, and then you feel resentful, you feel stuck, you feel miserable. And the cycle continues until you burst. And now you know why. Because you are going against what you really want to do. When you think about being creative, doing something artsy, singing, dancing, whatever your art is, you feel great. You think, wow, that is something I like doing. I look at other people, I watch them doing it. That feels great. Your heart is beating faster. You are sitting on the edge of a chair thinking about that. You know the art can make you happy. And then this fleeting thought disappears and you return to your chores, to your duties, to your life, and you wonder why you're feeling so miserable. And there is a way out of this. And I'm going to tell you how you get out of this, but you have to understand what is going on inside your mind. Now, when an inner voice tells you that you cannot really take time for yourself because you have so much else to do, listen carefully. Chances are that this inner voice is just playing something you've heard a lot in the past, and it's doing that like a broken record. It's always the same thing. It says, well, you're not really good enough, you're just gonna waste your time. And to be honest, being creative, being artsy is not really useful. And, you're never going to make a living out of that, so why waste your time? What I'm telling you is that it is your inner voice that is turning you off and taking you away from art. It's not an outside force. It's not anyone there standing there with a gun and telling you you cannot do art. It's you. It is time to change the tune. Life is all about being creative, and you can create your own life. Now, let's be honest, most of us have been told at some point that we would never have success as an artist. Most of us. So, what is that our parents tell us when we grow up? What is that our teachers, our peers tell us? Well, you all need to get a proper job, you need to pay the bills. And so when you think about the mindset of a starving artist, the person that works just for the joy of it and never gets paid well, you just fit the bill. You realize, well, I'm never going to be good enough. I'm never going to sell my art in a gallery or sell tickets to my concerts. I'm never going to be so good that I'm going to make a living out of this. So you just completely give up your dream. And I think there's something important, very important, is missing here, because art is a lot more than just earning, although a lot of people make a good living with art. Art is more about joy, it's the expression, it's the creation, it's this detachment from reality, and yet is also the expression of reality, the one that is inside you. So why would you take this away from your life just because you've been told by somebody else that you can't do that? I am telling you that a life worth living is worth a lot more than just paying the bills and having your 9 to 5 job and paying your rent. So, what are you waiting for to give yourself that permission to change your life? You know you've always dreamed of becoming a dancer, a painter, a singer, whatever it is. Performing delights you, playing with sound or color elates you, creating something, embellishing, embroidering that makes you happy. But you must work in a job that doesn't give you that. Maybe it gives you a lot of money, maybe you're earning 10,000 a month, but you're still feeling stuck and unfulfilled as a human being. You want change. But that change is not outside you, it's within you. What will it take it for you to take the next step towards unleashing this artist that is inside you? Even if it's just for a hobby, even if it's just once a week, what do you need? Do you need an earth-shattering event? Do you need a life-threatening disease? Do you need a lockdown? Now, when something really big happens, your priorities change overnight, and suddenly it's all about chasing the dream before it's too late. So I want to ask you, why don't you ask yourself why you're not giving yourself permission to just be you? Why do you have to wait until you retire, until you're too old to get started? Even if I believe that it's never too late, but why should you procrastinate? Why do you self-sabotage? It's a good question, isn't it? As I go around thinking about the reasons why these things happen, one of the things that come to my mind is there is a myth that while you are raising your children, you are not allowed any self-indulgence, any break, any pause. Every minute of your day must be absolutely used to serve your children, to make them happy, to make them entertained, or they're going to be bored and you're not going to be a good parent. They're just going to collapse. And I think that that's very much the perfect recipe for a burnout and for being very, very unhappy. Because although absolutely children love to have cuddles and attention and all sorts of stuff from the parents, but children also love to see that the parent is happy, the parent is balanced and is taking time to recharge. They learn by example. So even if you just take 10 minutes a day, that makes a big difference for your mental health, for your awareness of how you're feeling, to connect to yourself. And this also shows that you really care about your mental wellness. So my question before you go ahead is, what will you do today to show your family that you care about yourself too? Because let's say it, if you cannot care about yourself, how can you care about others very much? Because you're not even in touch with who you are and what you really want. When I was young, I learned a lot about successful artists and musicians and performers. I read their biographies and their stories on how they got there. And many of them have grown up surrounded by the very art that they are now loving so much. For example, the mother of Barry and Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees was an opera singer. I also remember there was quite a famous fashion designer back in Italy, and he had grown up looking at his mother being a textile designer, and he was always surrounded by beautiful embroidered fabrics and draperies, and he just grew up looking at all these colors and seeing his mother so excited, making her palettes and everything. And of course, then he decided, I actually love this too. So my question here is, what are we showing to our children that is important for us? Now, let's talk about working to help other people. I believe that we really lift ourselves when we lift other people. And I believe in the power of service. I believe that when we give something to other people, we are becoming a better person, and there is a huge value in giving service and in working within the family or outside of the house to improve society. That is a very basic thing in my life. However, work is one thing, and another thing is complete an absolute sacrifice of everything. And many mistakenly think that we have to sacrifice all we are, all we care about, for other people. And I heard this many times from mothers saying, well, my children are not even grateful. I've done this for them and I've done that and I spent this time doing this and doing that. But then the children say, Mom, I didn't ask you to do that. I didn't need a perfectly spotless house. I didn't need perfectly gourmet meal every single time. I just wanted you to be happy and you were so tired, but you wouldn't stop. And it is important to learn when to stop. We all need those 10-15 minutes a day. We can get those 10-15 minutes a day if we make a priority to nourish ourselves as well. And when we are doing that, we are doing a favor to our children. We are not taking away anything. So when people tell me that we have to sacrifice all we are, all we care about, because we are raising children, or because we are looking after somebody, or because we are working full time, I think it's the other way around. Sorry, maybe you don't agree, but that's just my point of view. It is exactly when we spend some time developing our talents, that we are glowing with a lot of passion, that we can ignite other people, that we can inspire other people. Not only that, but because we are fulfilling our true potential, then we have so much more energy and contentment and positivity that we can use to bless all the people around us, including our own parents or children or spouses. And because of that, we have a heart that is full. It's full because we are doing what we want to do, because we love, for example, art, but even if it was sport, it just really goes back to who you really are, how you express yourself, and it makes you happy because that's what you are born to do. So my question isn't how to sacrifice all you are so that others are happy, but how can you touch people in your life using your unique talents? That's the question that I would ask. Now, I know that a lot of you are going to start saying, well, Franz, I'm not really good at drawing, I can't really do any sports, I can't do any artistic gymnastics, or I cannot do boxing, or I cannot do singing or dancing, I can't do anything. I love them, I would love to do it, but I'm just not good enough. No, just no, because you are enough. You have to stop comparing yourself to other people who are better than you in something. Just you are enough as you are. Never forget that, because you are all born with a unique personality and with the ability to touch the lives of the others in some way. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you are not good enough or young enough to fulfill your destiny. And art is a part of expression for all humanity. It doesn't matter if you just do scribbles, it's still made by you, it's still helping you to express yourself. And the whole universe will support you when you reach for the stars. The fact that you are now just a little tiny twinkle in the sky does not matter. In your journey towards awakening the artist that is inside you, you might find that other people are always far ahead of you, and you might get discouraged and think, oh well, they're so good, I'm never gonna get there. I get it. This happens. We all have a tendency to compare ourselves to others and to look at the marks that we get at school or university and think, oh, he got a AAA in art and I didn't. Well, just don't do that. Think about a toddler. A toddler is there trying to learn how to walk. If you make him watch the Olympics and you see those big guys running really fast, he doesn't say, oh my gosh, look at them. Oh, wow, look how fast they are. And he just sits there. And there's no point in walking. Look at these guys, I'm never going to get there. No, he doesn't. He just stands up and keeps walking a little bit, and then he falls until he learns, because he just enjoys walking. And I think that's more the attitude that we should have when we approach art. A few times I had people telling me, well, Franz, I actually know very well I'm not good because I remember that when I was at junior high, my teachers told me, you're just gonna get just a pass because your art is not good enough. You can't really draw. You can't even count to make a few lines straight. You can't use a ruler. When you come to sing, you're out of tune. I just remember I was just terrible and I wasn't really interested. And now I would love to do some, but I just remember it's just not for me. So it's just one of those things, I have to accept the art is not for me. And I just want to pull my hair. I just cannot hear this. I actually believe that maturity gives you a much better understanding of why you need art around you, why you need it to be happy, to express yourself, to relax, to find a little bit of a little space, especially in this mad world and especially during this pandemic and the lockdown. It's all helpful to take some time off and to really ground yourself. So when you were a child, probably you thought art, in all the meaning of it, was something that was imposed from a school because maybe you didn't enjoy it too much because there was a framework, there were exams to take, there were books to study. It wasn't your choice. It was something that was just happening because you have to do it. Like maths, I used to absolutely hate maths because it was imposed. But when it was my own interest to do maths, I did them with a lot of interest. So you have to change your motivation, right? Once your motivation is different and focused on art, then you should give yourself permission to learn something new and to find your way around the art. And why would it be? Because, in my opinion, art is beauty, and humans love being surrounded by beautiful things. Let's say that we always choose something that looks beautiful. So whether you're good at embroidery cushions or pillows, or you're good at painting, or maybe your thing is about acting and you want to do commercials, or you love touching the hearts of people, like we had Liv Pearson last week singing a wonderful song that was expressing all his feelings for being lonely, and how much do we connect with him because of this feeling that he took the time to express. So it's important that we understand that what we were at junior school doesn't necessarily reflect in what we are today and who we are today and our capacities. It's just another world. We are a completely different person. There is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said many, many years ago, every artist was first an amateur. And this is really true for all of us. So we really need to give ourselves a good chance to try everything and see if we like it. It does take courage. Even Henry Matisse said that creativity takes courage. Why? Because we have to challenge a different part of our brain, not the routine one that we are programmed to do. We are thinking laterally, and that's very important for our growth. Pablo Picasso was very well known for saying that every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. What was he talking about? He was talking about our mind that blocks us from doing this experimentation, this joyful, playful splashing into the color, into the sound, into the 3D, into touching something. Why do we do this to ourselves? It's because we're listening to somebody, this inner voice that comes from when we are young and say, oh, well, all children play with colors and coloring images and do plasticine, but when we grow up, we have to do serious stuff. Who on earth said so? I would like to quote now from Thomas Merton. He said that art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. Isn't this exactly what happens in the process of studying a script or writing one, or maybe filling up a canvas that was completely blank? You are finding yourself as you put those strokes down, as you compose, as you create something, and you lose yourself. You don't know what happened to time. So why would you take this away from your life and listen to other people telling you have duties all the time? Yes, everybody has duty, but we cannot work 24/7. We have to stop. Now, about the perfection. I wanted to make another comment because everybody thinks that we have to be absolutely perfect. Remember Bob Ross, very famous painter? He said, we don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents. I love this kind of humorous approach because We are petrified of making mistakes. But guys, we are not a junior school anymore. There is no teacher there telling us what is good, what is not good, and we're gonna get a mark, we're gonna pass the exam. Who cares? We're just doing it like splashing in the water. As I always say, when we go and splash in the water, we're just having fun. We're not calculating the height of our jumps and how good we are. We're just having fun. Can we just not have fun? That's what art is about. I also would like to talk about those perfectionists, right? They want to do just every detail perfect and everything has to be done just right, otherwise they're terrified. Remember Edgar Degas? He said, painting is easy when you don't know how, but very difficult when you do. And I saw this in a forum yesterday. There were people saying, how long do you spend on a painting? You make it, it's beautiful, it's perfect, but you're there wondering all the time, have I got the colors wrong? Does this actually look like the dog or a cat I'm doing the portrait of? And you're constantly killing yourself, and this is beautiful. You're paid for the job and you're still wondering if it's good enough, It becomes really difficult. But what I'm talking about here is art for the sake of being happy. Not all of us have to prepare something that looks exactly and photographically like the animal that we are portraying. And if it does have to look exactly like a photo, why don't you just take a photo, That's not the point. The point is to give expression. Art is about expression and will always be about that. There is something else I want to quote from Calvin and Hobbes. He says, as my artist statement explains, my work is utterly incomprehensible and is therefore full of deep significance. That's what Calvin said. And I think that's the whole point of us taking 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, hey, if you're lucky, an hour a day, and take the time to really rediscover what art means for you. Where is the last time that you played a song on the piano or on the guitar or on the clarinet or you use your marimba? I don't know what it is and I don't know how incomprehensible that is for the other people. But the noise you're making is getting the endorphins and the dopamine in your bloodstream. You are happier, you are relaxed. And a person that is relaxed is not likely to burst and to attack others and to be angry because it's letting go of the anxiety, of the stress, of the worries, and it's just being a child again. And I think in times of lockdown, we all need that. So that's it for the episode of today. We talked a little bit about the stories that we tell ourselves about not doing art. I hope that this episode has been useful for you to think about what you can do to introduce art again in your life, and how you can help other people as well. Once your hobby is underway, maybe you can organize a group, maybe via Zoom for the moment, until we finish all these fancy lockdowns and we go back to normal life. And I'm absolutely sure we can go back to normal life if we start using the science instead of using hysteria. And that's just, my point of view. But meanwhile, so that we do not lose our minds, we all need art. If you want to find out how to take art back into your life and put it in prime place of your hobbies, please come and visit me in my website on franzsidney.com. Come to Facebook, Franz Sidney Therapy. It's a Facebook / right? And we also have an account in Parler and on Instagram. Same name, you cannot miss me up. So there is a chance for you to read more articles, to see a little bit more artwork, and listen to songs and whatever else you need to reignite and to awaken and unleash the artist inside you. So, thank you for listening and bye-bye. You have listened to Create, Awakening the Artist Inside You with Franz Sidney.